So from the agenda, you can see we have a breakdown of activities scheduled for today. Our safety moments, opening remarks, president's speech, chapter chairman's remarks, sponsor remarks. We just recently introduced that as per last technical business meeting feedback from the president-elect, and then we have a presentation recap, question and answers, presentation of plaques, announcements, and then group photograph, and then finally we have our vote of thanks. So, in order not to waste too much time, I'll be taking the safety moments. For safety moments, I know we'll be here for quite a while, maybe an hour or two. So please, during the period where we'll be having our meeting, I would advise that maybe you don't look too much into your mirrors if you're using a desktop. If you've not activated the UV, if you've not enabled the UV part of the desktop, it will be advised for you to do so. And then if you're going to be using a desktop to participate in the meeting, I would advise that you go through the 2020 rule where you look at it for some time and look away. And then for those of us who, most of us who will be sitting down for the period where we'll be having a meeting, it will be good for us to stretch our legs a bit. So maybe when you sit for a long while, you stand up and stretch. It will be good for blood flow and everything else. In order not to waste too much time, I think that's from my end what I have to say regarding safety moments. So next to the important opening remarks.
Okay, thank you so much, Secretary. You have done well, thank you. Please to welcome everybody to Warri chapter technical meeting for the month of March. Thank you all for joining. There are any AC members that have joined, thank you. The ESCO members, thank you. President, we appreciate you for joining. PE and all the ESCO members, thank you so much for making our time to join. And the presenters also, we say thank you for doing this for NAPE. We have two presenters today, Bikawei and Craig. Thank you for joining. I think the two of them will be taking part. Bikawei will take part of the presentation. Craig will take the second part of the presentation. Thank you so much for finding time to join this. NAPE is a big association. NAPE is for about over 10,000 members of geosciences and petroleum engineering members all across the globe. And we have activities, several activities in a month, because we have various chapters and we have the national having different activities. So always look out for our activities. We have the Warri activities, we have a North American, we have the UK, Europe, Benin chapter, Abuja chapter, Port Harcourt chapter, Oka-Owerri chapter, Uyo, Calabar chapter. So you will see one activity or the other in every month. At least we have up to like 3 or 5 activities in a month. So anytime you see our emails, you see our just endeavor to ensure that you are there. There's one or two things to learn. Like that, we are looking at a unique, another different method of monitoring our pipeline using Seismic and all that. I'm sure anybody that will be on the call today will have something vital to learn before the technical meeting finishes. So thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. God bless you. So over to you, Secretary.
Okay. So the next item on our agenda is the president's speech.
Right. Thank you very much, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Dear Secretary for Warri Chapter Coordinator, but also our chapter coordinator, Professor Juliet, and the entire executive committee members of your chapter. I'm quite excited to join today. I know the very first technical meeting that you had, for some reason I couldn't join. But again, I blocked this that I said there's no way I can miss this one. And good enough, today is public holiday, so I'm quite excited to join the session today. And by the way, just to say it upfront, I also have planned to visit Warri in the month of April as part of the engagements I'm having across the country. So, but I'm happy to be here alongside other ESCO members on the call. Again, in NAPE, as we continue to say, our ideas continue to find oil and gas. But also beyond finding oil and gas, we also provide a platform to discuss emerging issues, technology that can, help us in the way we discover the oil and gas, but also manage the production until we get them sold to the buyers. And today, looking at the topic, I think it's one of those creative topics. I was trying. I mean, I'm a seismic person, but I was like, okay, the topic around seismic from generated intruders, right, from security, and then kind of transfer that to something useful. So I'm really looking forward to see what the presenters are going to speak about. But I think it's quite interesting and it's quite creative already looking at the topic, and that's what we'll continue to do and provide the platform. So if you're on the call, you're doing the right thing to join these meetings that we have both in Lagos or across our chapters. I will continue to provide that platform for our members and friends and associates. So on that note, I want to say, please relax today. Let's continue to support the Warri chapter. They're doing pretty quite well already, well in first quarter, and this is the second technical and business meeting they're already delivering. So that shows the ambitions. And we all know Warri, of course, had been a center base of the oil and gas industry. So I'm happy that the momentum we are getting in this chapter fits in what we've known Warri for. And be rest assured that from myself and the entire executive committee members, we will continue to give you the maximum support that you need to succeed. And with that, I'll hand back to you, the Secretary.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. Next on the agenda is to welcome our chairman of the day, who would be coordinating affairs going forward henceforth. I'd like to, before I introduce him, I'd like to give you a brief of who he is and what he does. His name is Dr. Christopher Jackson. He's our General Secretary. He's a senior geoscientist and a geomodeler for ND Western. He has 15 years experience in geology and geophysics.
Can you display the slides? So I will see.
Oh.
Can scroll the slide. I mean, there's a slide showing his profile and his picture.
Okay, you're not seeing it. Oh, wow.
No.
You have to share it again.
Okay.
Share it again. Okay, so you can go ahead.
Okay, so his name is Dr. Christopher Jackson. He's the General Secretary NAPE. He's a senior geoscientist and a geomodeler for ND Western. He has 15 years experience in geology and geophysics. He has expertise spanning across seismic interpretation, reservoir characterization, field development planning, risk analysis. So this is well vast when you look at it. He has worked extensively in different types of provinces, spanning from Nigeria all the way to the Gulf of Mexico. He's actively involved in professional organizations, notably serving as an editor-in-chief of the Nigerian Association of NAPE from 2018 to 2022. And his contributions to geoscience research and publications have earned him, some great global recognition, including the most prestigious AAPG Gabriel Dengo Memorial Award for Best International Paper, first African researcher to win this prestigious honor. It's my pleasure and the pleasure of the chapter to formally introduce our General Secretary, who will be the chairman of the day, Dr. Christopher Jackson.
Right. Thank you very much, Ikenefuna. It's just confirmed you can hear me.
I hear
Yes,
you.
I can. I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, great. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here. And sincere appreciation to Warri chapter for always bringing up wonderful. Can we just put off the video? Thank you very much. Thank you, Tunde. So today, without much ado,
We can't hear you again.
okay, just confirm you can hear me now, please.
We can hear you. Secretary, go to the next slide. Can hear you.
Right. Yeah, today we'll be looking at a very interesting topic. The title is The Bottom Line, Using Seismic Data Generated by the Intruder Pipeline or Infrastructure Security. Like the president just said, this is a very interesting topic. And I really want to appreciate the presence of the executive committee member of NAPE, starting from the president. I can see the president-elect and other ESCO, the publicity secretary, and everyone on the call, our advisory council members, and a lot of fellows on the call. I respect and welcome every one of you. So today, without much ado, we have two speakers that will be doing justice, to this topic. And we won't be wasting much time. We will get straight into the presentation. As we go into the presentation, please, it's my pleasure just to remind us that as a ground rule, we will take the presentation. At the end of the presentation, we will take a session of Q&A. And in the Q&A, please do well to note down your questions as the presentation is going on. You can actually note it by yourself or use the chat or Q&A handle of Zoom, to post your questions, and they will be attended to accordingly. With respect to the profile of the distinguished speakers that we'll be having, we have the first speaker being Bikawei Eseoghene. He is in the oil and gas sector, and he's into oil and gas technology and project management. He's the leader in their organization. He is effectively the CEO of FOPIS Energy Services Limited. His profile is a very long one, which I'll just try to, summarize because of time. He is result-driven professional with 19 years plus of multidisciplinary expertise in the oil and gas sector, combining IT infrastructure management, project execution, and business development. His core competencies is around IT systems and network engineering, oil and gas project management, construction and operation technology integration, energy sector business development. He has worked extensively, about 9 years plus, as IT/management expert at Daewoo Nigeria Limited. He's the co-founder of FOPIS Energy Services Limited in 2015, which has its partner with the Australian counterparts, which will be delivering this presentation together. He delivered technology-driven operational improvement for multiple indigenous firms. He has Bachelor of Science degree in geology and mining from Enugu State's University of Science and Technology. He's vast in Microsoft systems engineering. He's a certified professional in that space. He's certified in Cisco, and he has project management professional certification also. As a core value, his core value proposition is to bridge the technical expertise with business acumen, leveraging geoscience background, IT mastery, and entrepreneurial experience to drive innovation in energy sector operations. Today, he'll be making the presentation alongside his partner, Mr. Greg Fonti. So it's my pleasure to invite to take this wonderful presentation today, Mr. Bikawei, to lead us as we listen. Thank you very much. Over to you, the presenter.
Good day, everybody. Hope everybody can hear me. Can you all hear me, please?
We can hear you, but we can't see
Yes,
you.
we can hear you, though you can just increase your volume a little, then we can hear you. Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay. I have a slight network issue at my location. That is why my video is not on.
It's okay. It's
so
okay.
that I'll be able to communicate. That's my present challenge right now.
It's okay. It's
Okay.
okay.
I want to appreciate everybody on this call. I want to also thank my friend and brother Francis Ikogu and Professor Juliet. Apologies, I may not be able to pronounce the last name properly, for making all this possible. I appreciate them so much, so much, for making all this possible. And I also have a background in geology. Listening to everybody, we have so many distinguished personnel here, so many distinguished personnel. And that was why I felt that it will only be proper for me to bring in the owners of this technology on this call. What we are trying to do is to make us understand the value of the technology presently in display. However, with all our individual backgrounds, we mostly are concerned about the resources underneath. But today, our emphasis will be the process, the resources that will be that will be on the pipeline. Our engagement for this evening will be how to preserve the pipeline that carries our crude resource, our crude oil, our refined products. That will be the emphasis for today. Again, like I said, we're going to be emphasizing a lot about the technology itself. And in 2015, I had the singular honor of meeting with Mr. Greg in Hong Kong, where we put most of all these together. We worked on a lot of projects together. That was why when this opportunity came, I told him the best thing to do is to put you on this call to do justice to this, because it is something you have been doing. So I will love a situation whereby you deliver this presentation as you know it. He's a man of different size. He's well over 70. I'm very sure of that right now. So I'm going to be introducing Greg Fonti. He's the chairman of KIG Energy Limited in Melbourne, Australia. He's already on this call. He will be the one to handle the pipeline protection intrusion system. Basically, FOPIS is fiber optics protection intrusion system. The use of fiber optics to protect pipeline, as against what we are doing presently in Nigeria. That is what this entire summary is about. Just to divert a little bit away from what we are doing, I'm very sure that those of us in the oil and gas industry, we should be aware, or we must have heard something about it. NNPC is trying to deploy over 5,000 kilometers of pipeline. They're trying to do that. Okay, they're trying to use the BOT model to achieve that. Okay, as part of what they are trying to also do for these new pipelines, they are going to embed all with this technology we are going to be talking about today. All the pipelines that we crisscross the entire length and breadth of this country will be embedded with the fiber optic protection intrusion system. So I will want to bring in Greg Fonti to take over from here, to give us a background, to give us a step-by-step analysis on how this entire thing works. Please, geologists on this call, I know that a lot of people will be looking at the seismic interplay in all this, okay? But again, part of the technology that is at play here has seismic in it. But for the purpose of this call, there will be no too much emphasis on seismic activity or geophysical activity. The emphasis will not be too much on that. Please, because I know as geologists, a lot of person, or geophysicists, a lot of person will be looking in that direction. Okay, I felt it is important for me to do that. And please, at this point, I want to bring in Greg Fonti to take over from here. Mr. Greg, please.
Mr. Greg, you are muted. We can't hear you. Mr. Greg, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Hi, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, we can hear you now, Mr. Greg.
Okay. Greetings from Australia, everybody. So my background is that I've been involved in IT, optical fiber cable. We're also registered government lobbyists with the Australian federal government, so we have a lot of interaction with the Australian government. So the background of what we're going to discuss today is actually an Australian invention. And given that what we do down here, because we have a lot of things that we develop in Australia, which has worldwide implications. For instance, the CSIRO done wireless, and that's from the astrophysics lab in the CSIRO. So we do a lot of that kind of innovation because we sit away from everybody in the world on an island. So we actually develop all this stuff in situ here. So background on this particular product we're going to be talking about today is it was developed in Australia. It has a patent in Australia. It's very it's probably, and again, there's other people who do something similar, but not to the same degree of excellence as this one does, and gives you a rough idea. So basically, this product uses an optical fiber cable, and with no, so we like what we want to do mostly ensure people is it's a very safe product. It has no energy used, no electricity in the field, so it sits there and it's immune to EMFs and all other lightning strikes and things like that. And it can predict, it can let you know if there's an intruder comes towards it within less than 5 meters. So from 5 meters out, it picks him up as somebody's walking, and it generally rolls back on, picks up heavy equipment and other stuff like that at further distances because of the seismic imprint on the ground. So that's basically very, very simply what it does. It's very effective and it's cost effective as well. So that's my background. And then you want to go through the slides, Bikawei, or do you want to add something?
No, you can go through the slide.
Okay, mate.
So you can share from his end, eh? Because we can't see his screen.
Mr. Greg, can you share your screen?
Share your slides.
Oh, you want me to do that? Okay.
Okay, yeah, do that, please.
Sorry, mate. I wasn't set up for that. I thought you were going to do it from there. Okay. Hang on, Bikawei, I've got to set that up. You took me by surprise. I thought you were going to do that.
Okay, so I should share from my end.
Yeah, go ahead, share from your side, please. Thank you.
Okay. Because they are different. So I don't know the one you will want to. So
no, just take it from the start, then he will guide. He will tell you which one.
Oh, okay, can you see the screen now?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So
okay.
So to put everything in perspective, and I hate when something happens like this, because we always talk about something that's happening a couple of years ago or whatever. Now we are faced with something that happened this month, on the 19th of March. There was an explosion on the Trans-Niger pipeline, and they lost about 450,000 barrels of oil per day. So that's about a $40 million revenue loss. And this just sits home exactly why we need a product in the field that actually can help alleviate this or attend to it much quicker than what we can now. Basically, pipelines run for many, many miles, and it's very hard to be able to use drones. There's all sorts of things that have been done to actually monitor this, but the optical fiber cable on the ground alongside the pipeline is undoubtedly the best. And this just shows you what we can try to prevent. Next slide, please. Now, what we do is that this is a split screen. It shows you what happens, and it shows you how we prevent these things happening using optical fiber running along. and using seismic events, and we run that through a very sophisticated system, which picks up any intruder or any oil leaks as well. Is what it does, it picks up oil leaks. So when the oil leaks, you know exactly where it is and what time it was, you know how to get to it, and it sends the information by mobile. Send it to your mobile phone. It'll send you an alert to your mobile phone, go bang, this is what's happening, send the repair team or send the protecting team out at this location, usually the GPS coordinates. It's a very sophisticated way of managing meter by meter our pipelines in a very, very sensible and user-friendly way, and delivering information in a critical time frame. Next slide, please, Bikawei.
Okay.
Now, so not to upset everybody, so we took an example of the Hessel explosion, which gives you an idea of what is really involved here. We have the cleanup, and when we have the cleanup comes in two ways. We've got to clean it up. Then you have communities that get very upset about the destruction of the environment, oil and gas. You know, like the environmental takes a big hit, so the drinking water takes a hit, and animals and everything. So it has a massive environmental effect. If we can get to the oil leak or the problem in a much more quicker time, we save and we engage the community at a very good level instead of going back and retrospectively trying to repair community damage or whatever the community's uproar would be. We minimize that, and that's the critical part of what we do. So basically, this slide explains it all, and we've done it this way because it puts things in a very, very easy to understand format. Because we see what happens when it happens, and we see if we implement the optical fiber that we cut down 98%, 99% of the problems, which is a very major thing because while it's also an economic lifeline, it's also can be a catastrophe for the environment and local communities. So we take those two differentiation points of view and we come together with a single opportunity to alleviate both communities of the issues involved. Next slide, please, Bikawei.
Okay.
Now, we've been talking to different parties in Nigeria now since 2015. The fact of the matter is the $4.2 billion economic loss is an ongoing thing. It's a yearly thing, and we've been talking to all the stakeholders that we can, like government and all companies, and Bikawei's done an amazing job getting this out. But the reality of the day, oil spills are linked to sabotage and theft. And when we look down at the reasons for that, the sabotage and theft contributes to 88% actually, percent of the leaks that happen, CPIs. So it's a major, major issue. So therefore, whatever we try to put into the field has to be economically viable, has to be sustainable, and has to be able to address the issues in a timely manner or expedite remedies in a timely manner. Because we're not going to stop the sabotage or theft unless they know they can't go near the pipes. Unless the preventive issue is there, they'll keep going. Now, drones and that you can watch when the drones come over or when they don't. Drones is one of the things recommended. The basic thing about running optical fiber cable, it's 24/7. It doesn't sleep, it doesn't rest, doesn't do it. It sits there and monitors the pipe 24/7. If you had to put the amount of people into the field to monitor the pipeline for 24/7, it would be uneconomical. So this is a very economic way of getting a 24/7 and then monitoring it. So to give you some idea, we put a device in the middle, and we run 55 kilometers of cable either side of that. That one central operation there runs that for 55, and it's also anti-cut and all that kind of stuff. So anything like that happens, it'll pick it all up and keep monitoring the cable. So this is a very, very important factor. It's a 24/7 thing. and it is very, very on leading edge. And we do use AI to do certain other aspects we want to manage within that sector as well, because AI now is creeping in more and more and more, and we are now implementing that into our technology. Next slide, please, Bikawei. Now, this gives you an idea how we do this. And you see, it's always when we lay a new pipe, we run the cable, but we can run the cable along existing pipelines. There's not an issue. We tend to drop the cable underneath the ground, so that's to measure the seismic thing. What we do with this as well, we have it's very refined technology. It gets away with, doesn't have much nuisance calls, or it also allows for the errant wildlife coming through and out. So it picks up the differences. It understands the weight, difference between a human being and a wild animal. So it picks up and differentiates between that. So the false alarm is down to a very minimal level. But this is a very good diagram showing you what we do, how we run it, how we run the cable, we do all that cable, and that gives you a cost per kilometer. Now, this is if we look at this in a rational way or an economic way, the cost will pay for itself in preventing leaks and theft and all that in over 2 years. So you imagine if you run all, you got your cost of your pipeline, which is a fixed cost infrastructure, fixed capex, right? Now we can get that fixed capex and protect that capex from being damaged or interfered with, and we can do that by running a optical fiber along the system, along with the pipeline, and that will also ensure the capex produces what it's supposed to do. Its revenue is not interfered with, and we can reach 20 problems with that in very, very quickly, because we have the teams able to get there very quickly because the GPS tells us exactly where the problem is, and we can solve the problem. Now, the issue with a general oil leak, when the thing leaks, so we got a 100-kilometer pipeline. If a leak happens anywhere along that pipeline, whether it be in a swamp area or a river or a lake or whatever like that, it would take us an age to load. We know there's a leak because the pipelines have sophisticated systems, so we have a leak. But what it doesn't do is pinpoint where the leak is. So with our system, we actually pinpoint the leak, give the GPS, and send it to a mobile. So our reaction time is very, very quick. So the environmental damage is kept to a very minimal. This is also, it's a revenue for a product, and it's also an environmental prevention against damage to the environment and the ecosystem of the population around the pipeline. These are very important factors which sometimes we don't appreciate the enormity of the issue. If a pipeline blows up, it affects the ecosystem around the whole pipeline, and the community gets outraged, and there's fines and fees and the rest of it. But it's the damage that we could have prevented that just makes it very, very difficult to get the community on side of what we're trying to do. Next slide, please, Bikawei. Now, I put this slide in here because this puts it in real terms, so you can see a person is picked up at 5 meters away. That means from 5 meters out, as he walks in, we got him. Now the vehicle is about 50 meters out, and a heavy tractor is about 80. So you can see that gives you a very good idea of how close and how quickly we monitor what happens, and how quickly we can get to it, and how quick the alert comes. And the important part of this is that it does not, and it is able to differentiate between a human being and an animal, a car and an animal, and a tractor and an animal. So any wildlife that's moving around will not set off the alarm. So therefore, you don't have what we call nuisance alarms. So we're not sending people out there to try and catch a deer or an antelope or whatever. So this is a very important factor about the technology behind this machine. Now, as I said before, it's an Australian technology, and it's very, very good from that point of view. And it gets sophisticated, it gets upgraded and sophisticated all the way along. Next slide, please. Now, this one shows you in real terms how it goes. So it gives the alarm system. It gives the rack-mounted controller, which is a 4RU, and that gives the fiber cable. These are the components that go in. All right. So there it gives you, this is the system in itself, and to encapsulate the system. So the pipeline down the bottom of the screen, you can see. Next, we have the fiber optic cable sitting on top of the pipeline or very close to the pipeline. Then above that, we have the controller running the optical fiber. Then we have the controller sending out the alerts. Then we have the monitoring station. Now, that's a simplistic drawing, but these are the working parts. Because we have minimal working parts and minimal moving parts, it's a very effective, and that's why it becomes a very cost-effective method of protecting our infrastructure. And as I said before, it looks very, very simple, but it's very sophisticated. The controller is a really sophisticated piece of engineering. I've worked with Cisco, I've worked with Microsoft, so I understand what goes in it. The box, I understand how it works, and so we know how we can put the software in, so we understand the different software we use. So this makes it very easy to understand. This is a simplistic view, but a very effective view. So if you're wondering how this all works, it's a very simple. So there's no real moving parts. The only moving part is the controller and the interchange with sending out alerts. Because there's minimal moving parts, less things can go wrong. And that's the pivotal point of this one. Next slide, please, Bikawei. Now, we're very much into AI. We understand AI effectively. We've developed the beneficial doing it. We have a very stringent process in Australia where we ensure the integrity and the safety and minimizing the negative consequences of AI is very, very important to us. We use AI for because algorithms, and it's a very, very important concept, but it also allows us to do a lot of myriad things that before we couldn't do. It allows us to manage information and inputs and do outputs in a very exponentially way, in a very quick way. Next slide, please. SA. Now, again, not putting too hard a point. What we do is we deal with the things that are relative. The Hissol thing that happened a couple of years back is 1 point. And that was the cost. There's $4 million and the icon. And it just goes on. It takes time to go back and repair the damage. It takes time to find it. It takes time to go and give back. But all that time we're losing revenue. So it's a revenue thing, but we're also causing massive damages to the spills. And we've been on this for a long time. We came from an environmental aspect first. We were more interested in containing the spills or the damage of spills and protecting the ecosystem of communities. And that was to us a very important, because drinking water is very important. And these things, and a spill can damage the drinking water. So we were very, very conscious of the fact that we had to have a system that was very conscious of this and conscious of the economic environment as well as the ecosystem of the community. And so as you can see here, because of the way we use optical fiber, it allows us from a very cost-effective way to manage spills and react to them very, very quickly, but also protect the environment. This split screen probably exemplifies what we talk about in a very, very stark reality. This is what happens to the left. What happens very, very, and I'm looking at the screen. So to the left of the screen, you can see the fire and the damage and the oil spilling. To the right is what we try to keep that environment looking like this. And our product allows us, or our system or technology, whichever word you want to use, allows us to do this. So these are the before and after. So this is what we like to do, and we want to prevent this. And that's a very, very stark slide because that puts things in essence and takes a lot of words away. So this is what we try to do with our technology. We try to preserve the environment ensure that we don't disrupt the environment. Next slide, please, Essay. You right? And that just tells you how you can reach us. And I do apologize if I speak too quick. I always get in trouble for this from Bikawei. But that is in essence, and I hope you appreciate what we're talking about. And what we're talking about is a very serious problem, which we've been addressing for a long time now. So what I've done, there's a couple of documents in here which are attached, which you can have a look, and gives you the value add. So we take certain events that have happened in Nigeria, and we put a document together, and there's also meeting notes to go with you. So we've done a case study, which shows you the environmental impact and the cost-effective impact of everything that happens. So it makes it very easy if you can go through that, and you've got something that's of value, and actually makes things a little bit more understandable if you don't understand my accent. S.A., do you want to talk now?
Thank you very much, Mr. Gray. Thank you
You're
for the
welcome.
great job. You've done pretty well. Wonderful
I do
presentation.
apologize for my Australian, sir.
That's fine. That's fine. We can understand. Thank you very much. You've done marvelously well. Before we take the Q&A, I'll maybe just give us a kind of recap of what the presentation is about. Effectively, Greg and Bikawei, they've tried to put together a technological-driven system, of pipeline protection using fiber optics. And we all know that peculiar to us in the Niger Delta, just lately, we had a kind of disruption of the Trans-Niger pipeline, which led to a halt of about 450,000 barrels of oil per day, and which is a huge loss of revenue, the tune of about $40 million a day. So this goes to tell us that pipeline monitoring and security is key. In as much as we are explorationists, it's important that every aspect of the value chain works in the oil and gas sector, starting from the upstream, the midstream, even to the downstream. It's important to every one of us. If you produce and you can move your oil from the wellhead to the flow station, and moving through all the pipeline and the trunk line is not guaranteed, then it's going to affect every one of us. So that's why NNPC, have come up with a plan, of the pipeline system monitoring. But Greg has been able to tell us that, in this technology, they are bringing in fiber optics and sensing solution, just combining that to ensuring we protect our pipeline. In the presentation, he was able to take us down memory lane just between a case study between 2009 and 2020, where we lost about $4.2 billion as a result of, pipeline vandalism challenges in the country, and through different levels of sabotage, theft, blast, and what have you. So the presentation tries to tell us clearly that the solution is able to bring some value in terms of detection of third-party interference through different, means, starting from detection to the tune of about 1.2 meters away when we are talking about footsteps of humans. If it is vehicle detection of about 50 meters away, even talking about mechanical digging or to the tune of about 80 meters away. So it goes to tell us that this is a very important and very interesting technology, that has been put together. and will be driving so much value to the country. And Greg ended up telling us that they have some case study documents that they've been able to put together over the years in Nigeria, about as a kind of case study where they can share with us and things like that. So it's very important. I know we are explorationists. We were expecting a lot of our seismic, but then there is an aspect, of incorporating seismic into this. So thank you very much, Greg. The presentation is well received, and we really appreciate you. At this point, please, we would like to take some questions. For those of us that have questions, please do well to use the chat button or the Q&A handle of Zoom. And Greg is on standby, to address those questions. However, I think I'll start. I have a couple of questions anyway, though I may take one or two at the moment. I want to ask, from the presentation, you were talking about prevention of spills, before they happen. So I was just thinking, right on top of my head, are you referring to the spill or the vandalism of the pipeline itself? Protection of as in prevention of the vandalism itself, not before we even talk about the spill that comes from that. Maybe you can shed some light. Thank you.
Yeah. Basically, there is a thing called pipe rumble. Before a pipe springs a leak, it does a little bit of rumbling. So you get an indication somewhere along the pipeline, something out of the ordinary is happening. All right, because you get that response. As soon as there's a slight shift in the balance of a pipe, you know there's something happening. But you also pick up intruders, so it's effective from that point of view. Because it sits close to the pipeline, anything that happens unusual in that pipe, you get a pipe rumble. Before a fracture happens in a pipe, it does rumble. And people don't know that. So the pipe vibrates. So there's an unusual vibration, we pick that up. So we kind of know there might be a spill coming. Then when a spill actually happens, there is a gush all of a sudden. So this is how it works to identify that. Because pipes do have spring leaks, whether it's regarding the theft or the vandalism, they do sometimes spring leaks because of the amount of volume that goes through them at the rate. So that flow goes through, and that's a measurable flow, it's a measurable sound. When there's an indication that sound differs, that's when they send an alert to us. Then we ascertain from that whether it's a spill or it's just a pipe rumble. So we're able to differentiate that and allow for us to understand from the character of the pipe what's actually happening. I hope that answers your question, Doctor.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Greg. Great. Yeah, we have a couple of questions. So we'll be taking them one after the other. The first one to you is what industries other than oil and gas can benefit from using seismic intrusion detection? What other industries?
Airports is one, because we have the system runs along a fence line as well. Airports, any kind, like a refinery, and making sure there's no access to the refinery. It has a multiple uses right across a broad spectrum of industries. So like it's used for wharves, and we can even monitor pipelines on gas fields in the ocean coming in. So that gives you some idea. So we can do all that kind of. So it has multiple uses, depending on what you want to protect and how you want to protect it. We can actually put a solution for each one of those. So it's a multiple use, because optical fiber cable, because it sits there and it measures any seismic event or anything like that. Does that help you? So it's across multiple industries, as a matter of fact. And the military use it a lot as well, by the way, for protecting their environments from intrusion.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the next question we have here is from Dr. Maju. I know she's in Uniben. She says the interest in her question is on detection sensitivity. He thanks you for the wonderful and insightful presentation, but she's curious, to know how does the system tell the difference between regular ground movements like animal and small vibrations and actual threats like from actual threats like someone digging near the pipeline.
I don't want to bore people and do about a 3-hour seminar on algorithms, but the algorithms are tuned to, so the software it's integral in the system. There's a whole set of algorithms that are able to measure that. And one of the key things we had when the algorithms were set up was to cut down what we call the false alarms. So you make that adjustment. So which is an adjustment which is always upgradable because we use algorithms to measure that and we know what goes on. So because of all our experience, our experience in this field from different gasoline pipelines and intrusions in airports, we understand how to reduce the noise levels, and so we don't have a problem with how to reduce the interference levels and interpret them well and keep the nuisance alerts down to our absolute minimum. We have, as a matter of fact, this technology has probably got the lowest nuisance alerts than any other product on the market, to be quite frank. And I'd like to go in a little bit depth. Some of it's proprietary, but let's just use the word algorithms. So it's adjustable algorithms that allow us to do this.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Greg. The next question is, where will the fiber optic cable be placed? Beside the pipeline or inside the pipeline? Will the fiber optics cables be buried beside the pipeline, just asking for security reasons? Yeah.
Well, security reasons, you can't it's very dangerous to put an optical fiber in a pipeline. So we actually run the optical fiber beside the pipeline in the ground, which is the safest way to do it. That's why we can pick up all the intrusion levels. Because if you can't run a pipeline, you can't run the optical fiber inside a pipeline because the flow is so noisy. So we run it outside the pipeline, buried in the ground alongside the pipeline.
Okay. Thank you very much. Well received. Yes, the next question is it the same technology that will be deployed on land and swamp terrain?
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. So this other question resonates with the second question I actually had.
Please.
And it reads, have you had the chance to deploy the system on a large scale in Nigeria or other African countries? If so, what lessons or feedback did you get from the field?
We've been trying to get a pilot done in Africa now since 2015. All right, and we haven't been able to do it, to be honest with you. We have in Australia, for instance, this product is at an army base, a gas plant. It's also in India. It's also in the Middle East as well. The only place we haven't been able to lay this product is in Africa. And my responsibility with this product is Africa. So I have the rights for Africa for this product.
Great. Well done. Yeah, I'm having a lot of feedback. Very nice presentation, wonderful session, and very insightful. But another question is here.
Sure.
From Precious. And it says, what is the estimated response time from seismic data detection to action in preventing intrusions?
Basically, what we do is because I come from the telecommunication industry originally, I used to lay optical fiber cable and so basically it's imperceptible to the human, the speed, right? When an intrusion happens, it's when the alert goes out, you're probably talking less than 30 seconds that you would know. That's how quick it moves along optical fiber. So optical fiber transmits information very, very quickly. It has its own latency problems, but this we don't have that kind of latency problem because we're not moving that much data through a single fiber. It's a single mode optical fiber. So when the intrusion happens, it's almost simultaneous. We find out as soon as that object is alerted or something's come near that pipeline, we know exactly where it is the minute that happens, and we have the GPS location straight away. So I did a lot of work with mobile phones with the British when we used a mobile locator system. How we locate when a traffic accident happens with a mobile. So this kind of is incorporated into this system as well. It happens in a matter of seconds, and the alert goes out in a matter of seconds. And that's exactly how it happens because there's nothing interfering and there's nothing else involved in that cable along the line to where it goes out. Is that, I hope I made sense of that.
Right. Yeah, thank you, Greg. Yes, this presentation is really interesting and is arousing a lot of interest, and people are asking really practical questions, And this particular one says, since the fiber optic cables will be placed inside the pipelines, don't you think intruders will take it out first before tampering with the crude oil pipeline? Secondly, will the fiber optics cable have its own pipeline?
Okay, let me do this. Number one, the fiber optic system runs beside the pipeline. Doesn't run inside the pipeline, runs beside it. Now, the other thing is, because it's buried under the ground, you got to know where it is. So when I say it's buried beside the pipeline, it could be either side of the pipeline, whatever. And as soon as you start digging, it'll pick you up. And before you even get down to where the pipeline is, where the optical fiber cable is, it's already your GPS alert and we're already responding. That's essentially how quick it does happen. So basically, really, really simply, the fiber is buried next to the pipeline. As soon as somebody digs or approaches it, the alert goes, we have a GPS coordinates, and we're able to be there as expeditiously as possible. Quicker, as they're digging, we're already there on them. Does that make sense? That's the idea of this product. Instead of trying to guess where they're going to be, we're going to know exactly where they are because we have the GPS coordinates of where the intrusion happened. The exact GPS coordinates quicker than somebody can pull a shovel out of the truck.
Right.
That's honestly what happens.
Okay. Okay, one other question here says, can seismic waves from intrusions be distinguished from vibrations caused by animals, weather conditions, or industrial activities?
Well, what we've done, because we understand, because this has been developed with this in mind, with environments it goes into, whether there could be cattle around or wild animals. So it's been developed with all that in mind, and using algorithms, we're able to eliminate what is normally an animal environment and a human environment, or a tractor or a truck environment. So we're able to assimilate that, which reduces what we call the nuisance calls or the false alarms. And that's the way we've calibrated them. So I use the word calibrate. If I use the word calibrate, sometimes people don't misunderstand. So we use a sequence of algorithms to actually calibrate the machine, and the calibration of that machine is always going to be adjusted, and we always adjusting it all the times. So it's because the algorithm allows us to adjust it, and that's how we do it, to be honest with you. We actually understand the situation, the environment we put these things in, and we calibrate the device to do that. That's how we eliminate, because a four-legged deer doesn't make the same impact as a two-legged human, weight-wise. Is the actual fact.
And we still have some more questions, about 3 of them for you to attend to, and so we'll do that very quickly.
Sure.
The next question says, what is the cost outlay per section of pipe? How do you differentiate false positive? During the presentation, you told us that pipeline project per kilometer is about 343.9 thousand USD.
Yeah.
So this person is asking, what is the cost outlay per section of the pipe? And add it to the second part of the question also, how to differentiate false positives.
Okay. Basically, what we've done is give you a per kilometer, which includes the pipe and the controllers, and give you one controller controls 55 kilometers to the right and 55 kilometers to the left. So we're able to. It comes in a 4RU box, so it's quite a technological piece of kit. And if you know Cisco at all and the way we manage the cables and all that kind of around the world, so it comes in a kit which enables us to do different things. If we get a false positive, we're able to calibrate the machine by utilizing what we have with the AIs and all that kind of stuff. But we have reduced to the false positives to an extent now that it's almost probably less than 1 in 1,000 of picking that up, because it's very easy to do that with animals. Animals walk different and in different vibrations. I know you guys are seismic and geologists understand the seismic nature, and this is actually a seismic device. It measures any interference in the or the area around the seismic base of the unit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. But when you were presenting, you talked about the intrusion alarm.
Yes.
So those alarms, are they actually detecting the positives?
Yes. Yes. So the intrusion alarm goes off when somebody comes near that, or starts digging, or drives up, or a tractor moves in, and that sends a message to the control center, which then sends it out to a mobile phone. So we send that. So that interaction. Now, if I was speaking in terms of telecommunications, I would say to you that takes around about, given distances and everything else like that, probably about a minute or 30 seconds to do it. So when the intrusion happens, so that comes through, it's 30 seconds to a minute before that goes to a mobile phone somewhere. That's in real terms. That's the real speed of it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So the next question says, what are the technological challenges associated with this technology, putting Nigeria climatic factor into perspective?
Well, the beauty of this, it's not affected by wind, rain, or it doesn't affected by climatic conditions or heat or that. It's in very hot places and it does not affected by the climatic conditions. Because it's underground, it doesn't get the usual problems you have. Even though when you put it along a fence line, so we have two different controllers operating two different things. We have one controller operating for the pipeline, one controller operating for the fence line security. Right, so each one are impervious to weather conditions.
Yeah, great. The next question is talking about the salinity of the waters we have in the different terrain in the Niger Delta. It says, has the fiber optic cable been tested in saltwater terrain, since most of the pipelines are on saltwater and freshwater terrain?
I've done a lot of work with the largest producer of optical fiber manufacturer, and they have a solution for salt water. That's what I said to you before. We can run this product along like say you got an oil rig out, a gas rig out in the middle of the ocean, and we can run that along there, and it'll be impervious to. It can run alongside that pipeline coming from the drilling route to the land. So we already are working with the optical fiber manufacturer to ensure that we have that product to withstand. And that is an aside because nobody's ever asked that question before, and it's a good question. So we understand that. So the optical fiber we use is of that quality and extent it's impervious to salt water.
Great. Okay. Maybe perhaps the last question is talking about how can you compare your technology with using camera to expose vandals?
Well, because it's very difficult to get a camera to work for 110 kilometers. No camera on the planet is going to work for 110 kilometers unless it's a satellite. It's just not going to happen. So basically, we're looking at that, but the practicality of that, or the logistic of that, is a little bit out of our reach right at this moment. Notice I said out of our reach at this moment. Is this something we're looking at?
Okay. All right, thank you very much. It's important for us to read this wonderful comment from one of the participants who says, amazing technological innovation. I fully support adoption of this technology in fighting pipeline vandalism and oil theft in the Niger Delta creeks. It's just for the task force that will be working with the technology to arrive at a geographic location on time. These two will create more jobs for Nigerian youths like me. So that's a very good one. So maybe we just do the final question that says, how does the virtualization work? You know, is it as dashboard or via phone, or how do you do it?
Okay,
I think this should be visualization.
Yeah. So the visualization, we go back to a control center. We call it a CAM center, right? Which measures all this. So we have a centrally located CAM center. Gets all the information fed because we're using optical fiber. So as we connect them in, we move them in. So we have a controller which goes out in the field and it sits there and runs 55 kilometers. That controller is linked through that optical fiber cable all the way through. One of the things that why we picked up this technology was with my good friend SA. We are very proactive in ensuring we make it a Nigerian operated service, benefit Nigerians. So the digging and laying the cables are all done by Nigerian locals. So there's no other people involved. So it's a very much a Nigerian first type product. All we do is supply some of the kit, and Nigerians actually put the kit in the field, monitor and manage the kit. And that's exactly what we're trying to do. And that's a very hard point to get across, by the way.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Greg. Everyone on the call, you agree with me. This is a very wonderful session. Perhaps because of time, we may not be able to go further with more questions. I think we still have one question coming in. Maybe you quickly take that, Greg. If I think we are doing well with time. The question says, from Killian, it says, without revealing too much, how is your detection technique different from microseismic detection? Just concerned about detection and quick response against pipeline intruders.
Okay. It's a very good question. Basically, what the basis of the design was designed about ensuring that we were able to detect and again. Sorry. So basically, it is a seismic event, and there's no way you can dodge that. It is a seismic. So what we do, we tune the system to pick up certain seismic events, and we understand if you know the dB levels of those seismic events, dB being the sound level of those seismic events, and we actually translate that into a proactive way of measuring what's happening and getting a picture in quicker than you and I can actually form the thought, and we actually got the result of what's happening. So it's a lot of technology on it, and a lot of stuff is covered by the patent, to be honest with you. And I can't go into any more depth than that. But we use the different sound implementations of different events. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Greg. But just before we wrap up, I want to add, I had this personal question to ask so that you very clear to us. But then that goes in line with the question Yoduji is trying to ask about the shortcomings noticed with this technology in the former areas, which you've deployed this technology. So you may just add up responding to my own question, which is, have you deployed this directly in the Niger Delta before? And if yes, with which client? All right, okay, that's fine. So
I will qualify if you don't mind. I apologize, Doctor. I will apologize for interrupting you. we have been talking, and Mr. S.A. Bikawei has talked to Shell and Chevron. We've been having discussions, but talking to companies that are not Nigerian, in essence, American companies or Dutch companies, they're very slow to implement something that's going to save money for Nigeria. That's my personal point of view. So we have been trying to do this since about 2015.
All right, that's great.
Discussions.
Okay, that's fine. So what are the from your experiences, where you've deployed the technology? What do you think are the downside of this technology?
That's a very good question. What I personally, because I know where it has been deployed, I have not seen any downsides on this one so far to date. Mainly because let me put it in a way that's very, very simple. Because there's no working parts in it. You understand? There's nothing working. There's no moving parts. So for the perception of something to break is almost impossible because there's no moving parts. You might have a cable snap, but we haven't had that at the moment. So there's no moving parts. So less moving parts, less things to go wrong. Sorry.
Right.
That's a very good question.
Yeah. Yes, thank you very much, Greg. Fantastic presentation. Well done. I really appreciate the response you've given to the different questions, coming in. And really, it shows that people really enjoyed the presentation. And it's something very important to us practicing, in the Niger Delta and every one of us that joined the call all over the world. And so thank you very much yourself and Mr. Bikawei. Very great job. Thank you for putting this together. And I really have to appreciate NAPE also for the platform to have us receive this presentation. So at this point, I think you've done justice to the presentation. I appreciate you and your partner. And at this point, I think I'll hand over to the secretary of NAPE Warri chapter, Ikene Funamba, and the Warri chapter coordinator, Prof. Juliet. So thank you very much. And it will be my joy that maybe we can use our virtual appreciation to clap for Greg for the great job. Well done. Thank you very much. We can put our hands together for Greg. Well done. Thank you very much. Do have a wonderful time. Taking up for now, over to you, please.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you, our chairman, for doing justice and coordinating the meeting so far to this level. I really appreciate everything you've done. Also, thank you to our sponsor, Greg, for your insightful words in terms of what we could do better to make sure that we prevent spills, because it's something that we really need to really focus on. And like our president said, as much as NAPE is about finding gas, we're also finding oil and gas. Our idea is finding oil and gas. We're also much looking into how we could make sure that the gas gets to the people who are buying it. So thank you so much for that. So next on the agenda is our presentation plaque to our presenters and our chairman. I don't know if you could see my screen. I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah, so we can see your screen. So it's over to PE. We can see your screen.
Okay, so I'd like to introduce our president-elect, Dr. Olujumoke Ajayi. Welcome, ma.
Olajumoke Ajayi. Yeah.
Olajumoke, sorry, ma. Sorry, ma. Olajumoke Ajayi. Thank you so much, ma. Over to you, ma.
All right, thank you very much. I hope you can hear me very well. I hope the noise is not from me.
It looks like next slide, secretary.
Okay. So thank you very much, our presenters. When I first saw the topic, for today's technical meeting, the bottom line using seismic data generated by the intruder, I felt there was a typo. So I was eagerly looking forward to know what it's all about, and a lot has been learned. We appreciate you, our sponsors and presenters, for a well-delivered presentation. So, Mr. Bikawei Eseoghene, I hope I pronounced your name very well. We would like to present.
Indeed, man.
Yeah, we like to present, this plaque to you, although the physical one will get to you later, but the award of appreciation for a well-delivered technical presentation, which I believe we've all learned from. And if today wasn't a public holiday, you can imagine the number of attendees we would have had here. So this is really an insightful presentation. Thank you very much. So on behalf of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists and the Warri chapter executives, we present this to you in appreciation of your sponsoring of this March technical meeting. Thank you very much. So the next plaque goes to our chairman for the day. And thank you, Dr. Christopher Jackson. You anchored the session very well, and the way the questions came in and the way it was answered. Thank you for anchoring it and doing a good job. So we appreciate your time, even given that today is a public holiday. Still took time out to share the session. So on behalf of NAPE, Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, and the Warri chapter executives, we present this plaque to you for chairing the technical and business meeting for March 2025. That's the business meeting that is was put together by the Warri chapter. Thank you very much.
You're most welcome, Adia P.
Thank you. So, and to Greg, it was, I think, Prof, you will confirm, was it before this session started that you got to know that Greg will be presenting, and you did an excellent work. Prof, you wanted to say something?
Greg, I was not really informed that Greg would come up, so it was just a short notice, and we have to try and get this together.
Oh,
I'm sure after the presentation, we'll see what we'll do to arrange this properly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Greg. I really followed your presentation. Yes, you felt it was short, but it was loaded. A lot was taken from the presentation, and I believe that the industry will look at this, and it will be a technology that we will all take advantage of. As we all know, when we talk of challenges we are facing in the oil and gas industry, security of the pipeline evacuation route is always number one on the list. So this is a welcome technology, which I believe we operators here in Nigeria, Niger Delta, we want to take advantage of. So we present this plaque to KIG Energy Management Pty Limited for a well-delivered presentation. Thank you very much. And the rest is, I believe Prof will do the necessary things to ensure that it gets to you. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
I think that's all.
Okay, thank you, P. Thank you so much. Okay, it's Lucky there.
Yeah, good afternoon, Prof.
You can go ahead.
We are on announcement. Good evening, all, and good evening, our presenters and guests. Welcome once more to NAPE Warri chapter on our March technical series.
You can increase your volume a bit. Can barely hear you.
Okay, is it more audible now?
It's better now.
Okay, we are on announcement session. Next slide.
NAPE election.
I mean, next slide, next slide. I can't see the slides. Okay. NAPE elections, the announcement have been put up for those of us who will be contesting for elections, and we should check our mails and see the available positions and see the criteria if we met such criteria. Next slide. Yeah, this is announcing for our 43rd NAPE annual conference holding from 9th to 13th November 2025 at Eco Hotel and Suites. The topic is revitalizing the Nigerian petroleum exploration and production strategy for energy security and sustainable development. We are encouraged to start making preparation, block our calendars for that day. This year's conference promises to be eventful, informative, and educational. Next slide. Yeah. These are the platform for the registration details. Early bird, you can see the details there. Members, financial up-to-date member is 100,000, non-members is 110,000, lecturers, financial up-to-date is 60,000, while students are 40,000 naira. We are encouraged to start making quick preparation for them before the close of date, which is after September 1st. Next slide. Next slide. Our monthly technical / sponsorship opportunity. 2025 technical business monthly meeting sponsorship opportunity now exists. Partner with NAPE, can partner with any chapter, be it Warri chapter or the national, to host any technical or business meeting in one of the monthly technical business meetings of 2025 and showcase your company technical strengths, prowess, and edge. Leverage the NAPE platform to reach our diverse membership across the world. For details, contact Mrs. Olajimoke Ajayi, our president-elect, who is the NAPE Continuing Education Committee, or Lawrence, with the underscored phone number. Next slide. Yeah, membership dues. Pay remains as it is. Student 2,000, active member is 12,000, associate member is 12,000 and 50,000 for corporate membership. And this is what only thing that entails you being to enjoy the benefit associated with NAPE activities. So once you register, you have a lot of things to benefit from NAPE. Next slide. Yeah, you can pay your dues through our UBA account and okay, next slide. Yeah. These are various social media handles, the Instagram, the LinkedIn, Facebook, and the X. We enjoy you to navigate them and solve and know more about NAPE and share NAPE experience through them. Next slide. These are the NAPE Warri chapter executives. Heavily led by Professor Juliet Emwe and her team.
Next slides. Okay, fine. Okay, so thank you so much, PS. Thank you so much. I think let's go back to Tunde now. Tunde, can you help us with the photograph? Tunde, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. So let's all put on our video. Let's all put on our video. Let's do this. Dr. Ogbe, get ready for the vote of thanks as we are through with the picture.
Okay, that's okay.
We have done that. Okay. It's okay. Okay, so the next is Dr. Ogbe. Secretary, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Prof.
Okay. So go ahead and do it for the vote of thanks.
Okay, thank you, Prof. On behalf of NAPI Warri Expo and chapter, we thank the speakers, Mr. Greg and Eseoghene, for the wonderful and insightful presentation. And to our chairman, Dr. Jackson Asukwo, we say thank you for simplifying and adding value to the novelty work. And I will also use this opportunity to thank you for always saying yes to our chapter calls. We also thank the NAPI president and the president-elect, Mrs. Ajayi, and other members of the NAPI present here for your time and commitment to make the association a vibrant one. To crown it all, I will say a big thank you to our sponsor, FOPIS management and the staff for the provision of the resources and their technology that brought this technical business meeting a success. Once again, I will say thank you and God bless.
Okay, thank you so much. So that will bring us to the end of this technical meeting. Thank you so much. Mr. President, we appreciate you. Thank you. P, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, madam.
Okay, Dr. Witty, you're there. Thank you. Dr. Witty, FNAPI, thank you.
Prof, you did very well. Thank you to the team.
Thank you.
And my P.